We're joined here by Kelvin head swim coach Dan Gelderloos, and Dan getting ready to kick off the 2016-17 season. And we're here in the Venema Aquatic Center, where you guys had a lot of exciting swims and dives last year. Let's just talk a little bit about the excitement with this team and what you have going here with your men's and women's squads. Of course, both defending MIAA champions, but there was certainly some good competition in the league last year. I'm sure that will be the same again this year. How do you feel about your team so far as you go into late October?
I'm really excited. We're about just over 4 weeks into our training. We're about to turn the corner into some competitions. And I've told my team this already, but I have been as motivated as I've ever been coming into practices each and every day, finding new ideas to get them going and swimming fast day in and day out. And it's just been a really fun group to be a part of this year. We got 14 freshmen men on the 14 freshmen men. We have 10 freshman women. And they've bought in really early. The first 4 weeks is always about kind of integrating, the freshmen into the team, kind of bringing them along. It's about trying to figure out what this team's about, what we want to do, and what we're going to be, the platform that we're going to be standing on at the end of the year, and how we want to shape our goals. So it's all, I would say, ahead of the curve at this point.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about some of the returning athletes that you have. Maybe first of all, starting out on the men's side, where you had a record number. I think off the top of my head it was 12 that went to nationals last year. Obviously not all of them are back this year, but you still got a core group that went to nationals last year. And then also on the women's side, I think it was 7 or 8 that also advanced. You've got some experienced veterans that have tasted a little bit of that high level success. How does that factor in, and how does that help charge some of the folks that are trying to buy in that are newcomers?
Yeah, we definitely set a high water mark last year, and I think we had someone swimming in every single event on the men's side last year at the NCAA meet, and that was a really good mark to set, and something that they we worked hard for. This year we lost a couple of important names and faces. But what I've been selling the team on is that if we could have probably gotten really close to qualifying 2 medley relays. And our B 200 and 400 free relays were really not that far behind our A relays. And so we're going to have be able to do some of the same things we've done last year. But it's going to be some new faces in those relays. It's going to be some new faces that are going to step up. And those faces were sitting on the sideline watching, looking up maybe a couple times, in certain events. But they're going to be asked to, take on a different role, and that's going to be exciting. And that's what we're talking about. On the women's side, we got back to the meet after being not sending any ladies there the year before, which was a really good thing. We got back to the meet, and we were able to perform really well with a couple relays, and Abby had a great end of the year last year. We're gonna obviously feed off of that. We got all but one of those ladies returning, and we got some freshmen that are going to make things interesting in the competition for some relay spots and individual qualifying spots as well. So they're eager, they're confident in what we're doing right now. And I think it's going to be a build towards another great finish.
Well, seniors are always important to programs. I know you've got a few on the men and a couple on the women's side. Just talk about some of the seniors, first of all, on the men, then the women. I know Brett Stoughton is one that comes to mind. He's been a 3-time all-conference selection, gone to nationals 3 years. He was a Elite 89 recipient. He's got a perfect 4.0 GPA. He's the kind of guy that does a lot in and out of the pool, and certainly a really good senior leader, and one of more than a few that you have. Just talk about the senior classes.
Yeah, we got a great group of seniors. You can't go wrong there on any one of them. You just talked about Brett. He just a little plug for what he's doing. He's already employed. He took a job offer in a company down in Indianapolis, and so he has already started. We'll be starting training here soon, and when he graduates in May, he will be heading right down to Louisville first, and then on in Indianapolis. So he's been just a testament to the work he's done and how much he's, being a student athlete makes you marketable and pads your resume and all those good things. Yeah, he's one of our 3 great captains on the men's side. He's been laying some great foundations so far. Eli Holstag is our kind of enthusiastic guy. He's always happy. He's always fun to be around. He's always, pulling some people along in his, wake. And then down on the diving boards this year, we got Dirk Tanis, who is, just as, I think he's close to a 4.0 pre-med student. Leading the charge, great head on his shoulders. And so it's good to have those 3 on board, as well as the other seniors that we got in the mix as well. And then on the women's side, we got Adrian, who is leading in her own way with her work ethic and her muscle in the weight room. We got Anna Griffin, who's a quiet leader. She rose to the captain position, not as one of our best swimmers, but as one of our best leaders, and that's a really cool thing to see happen. Not just our most popular or most outgoing or our most talented swimmers are becoming captains. It's the best leaders that are getting picked, and Anna is a testament to that. And then Hillary on the diving boards as well is a great attitude. She just got a little story behind her. She just got a pacemaker put in back in August, and she's already back participating. Great attitude through the whole thing. Really wants to be a part of it, and couldn't be more blessed to have all 6 of those leading the charge with me. So.
Talk a little bit about your diving group. It's swimming and diving, and you've been very blessed to have strong divers over the years, and you sent divers to nationals last year. Talk about your diving contingent for both squads. I know you have some returnees that have a lot of talent.
Yeah, most of them are returning. We only have 1 new diver this year in Dan Carroll from Hudsonville. He's going to add to a group of 4 young men that are really pushing each other down on the boards. I'm really impressed with what I see. I see, every time they do a new skill or a new twist or add another flip to the repertoire, you hear cheers down there, and those have been plenty this year. On the women's side, we got Sarah Bradley, who is coming off an NCAA performance. She's been getting more confident as we go. Hillary, and then Amelia, who is getting stronger and stronger and slips into the water so nicely. It's really fun to watch those 7 work hard every single day down on the diving boards.
We'll kind of do this in reverse a little bit, but just touching on that, I understand that you've recently been awarded the NCAA Diving Regional. I think that's the 25th and 26th. It's a Friday, Saturday, and late February here at Calvin College will be a very busy time inside the Spoolhoff Fieldhouse Complex, as Calvin will be hosting the MIAA Indoor Track and Field Championships that same weekend. So anyway, the Diving Regional will be the 2nd time that you've hosted it, and it speaks to the testament of this facility here, and obviously Grand Rapids and Calvin's ability to host. That's got to be something really exciting for your program and for your divers and head diving coach Aaron Passvan.
Yeah, the West Michigan Sports Commission helped us out with that bid, and it's plus Aaron was on the rules committee and the NCAA committee and had a big part in getting this kind of event, which is I think really helped diving at the Division III level. We've gone away from all the tapes. All the divers get to achieve a score throughout the season, and then they come to the regional meet, and it's the best divers get in on that day. And I think that's a great way to do it. I think it's fair, and to be able to host it here at Calvin is awesome. The first time we did it, I think 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, 2013 is what I recall.
We had a young lady win it.
Yeah.
Which was a nice little touch, Sam Clausen. So hopefully we can ride that little wave of momentum by being able to be host and be familiar with our own boards, get a few more spectators in the stands rooting for us, and show off our facility, show off our campus, and show off being able to host a great event.
Yeah, so touching on the schedule, let's go now to October here. You're just a few days away from kicking off the year. On Friday night, you'll compete in the MIAA Relays in Holland. Then you host a meet this Saturday against Division II rival Grand Valley State, nearby crosstown rival, who's done very well on its own right. But just talk a little bit about the non-conference schedule as you lead up to Christmas break first, and talk a little bit about what that's got on the plate for you.
Yeah, I'm about to talk to the team this afternoon a little bit about having a sense of urgency starting right now. There's we don't have really too much time to get cute and try to play around with events or try to avoid certain events. We have to get right to it and start shaking the rust off some 200s of stroke. Start swimming some longer events that are uncomfortable at the moment. And so it's going to be a fun Friday night is kind of, in biking terms, it's kind of the prologue of the season where everybody comes out and we do some relays and everything's short. It's a sprinter's dream. We get to, it's not unscored, so there's not a lot of pressure on everybody. And then we turn around right on Saturday and face off against a really, really good and always getting better Grand Valley team that's going to really test us. And it's going to show us that, I like swimming outside of the conference because we can step up and see that, it's good to feel like we're not the big fish all the time, and it's good to raise our competition level whenever we can, and if there's a school close by, we're going to take advantage of that.
Then the Christmas break, I know you usually go somewhere warm to train. What do you have on tap this year for Christmas vacation?
Yeah, we are going down to Florida again, although there's a slight twist because our typical pool in Coral Springs, which we love to go to, is getting renovated.
Okay.
So we are going down to southern Florida, but it's going to be at Florida International University this year. So we've had to change our location just a tad, but it should be very similar. That's always a great week. It's kind of a college swimmer's rite of passage to go on those training trips and get to be in the warm sunshine down there. We get to do a lot of things away from the stress of being a student that week. We get to come together a little bit closer that week and kind of reset and set the standards for that second half charge to the finish line.
What about the league this year? How do you see things shaking out? I know that traditionally it's been Hope and Kalamazoo that you battled with, but now Albion is really coming on strong and sending people to nationals, pushing the point list at the conference meet. It's not just one or two, it's probably three, and who knows, some other folks slipping in there. It's getting competitive, isn't it?
I was just looking at rosters the other day, and I think we're going to have the biggest conference meet we've had numbers-wise in maybe 4 or 5 years, which is nice to see. It's nice to see a healthy league. As far as competition goes, on the men's side, it looks to, Albion is going to be the up-and-coming team, and it looks like it's going to be a race between us and them, and it could very well come down to the final day. We are thinking if things hold true to, who's got who and top times at the moment and what it looks like on paper. So that's going to be exciting. We are going to have a challenge. We're going to have something to hold ourselves accountable to, and we're looking forward to that challenge. On the women's side, I just saw Hope got, I think, 12 freshmen on the team, with a couple of them that are really, really good. Kalamazoo has is led by their really, really strong senior class, and then Albion is continuing to add numbers to their roster too. So that's going to change the landscape of the women's meet as well. I would think that it's probably going to be between us, Hope, and Kalamazoo again, with the top 3 spots, with Albion trying to sneak in there and shake it up a little bit, which will make it interesting.
Sure. I want to get back to a couple individual stories as we wrap up. We were talking a little bit about Sarah Bradley during the diving, and she had a very unique story last year in the fact that she was gone for a semester studying abroad, came back to the team around Christmas break, and was able to dive well enough to not only qualify for nationals but score at nationals. You've got a couple of individuals that are gone fall semester that are studying abroad that plan to come back around Christmas time. Just talk a little bit about what they're doing academically and how they're balancing their student athlete experience, I guess, while they're abroad.
Yeah, the coach in me always kind of cringes and goes, kind of as they travel away, and because coaches always like to have ultimate control, right?
Right. It's not the first time you've had this either.
No. But I love being able to see them do this. I love having a big enough team that we can have some people go off and enjoy this type of experience, and then come back and keep on ticking as well. So I think it's overall a good thing. We got Tanner over in Hungary this year, and he's kind of following up on what Johnson Cochran did 2 years ago and enjoying that experience. He's over there. I don't know exactly what classes he's taking, but I know he's taking classes with the Calvin students that are on the trip with him. But he's also training with a pretty high-level group over in Hungary. I know in the lane with him most days is a guy that was at Rio, on Rio's team as an alternate. So he's keeping him honest in that respect. And so it's fun to hear the different training stories that are coming from him. The different coaches, the different atmosphere on deck and stuff like that. And he's going to come back and share some of those things with us and make us better from that as too. And then we also have Ana Estrella, who is in Guatemala or Honduras. I'm sorry, Honduras, and she is training with at a local pool down there with a master's squad, and she's getting workouts from us and sharing those with that squad, and says they're really complaining about how hard they are, so they must be working. So it's fun to kind of think that we have a little bit of an influence on a few more swimmers down in Honduras with Ana.
And then one of the other kind of story sidelines or sidelights, I guess, would be the fact that you have so many sibling combinations this year. Sets of brothers, sisters, a set of sisters, a bunch. I mean, it's definitely families within the family of Kelvin Swimming and Diving. Just talk a little bit about that whole combination.
Yeah, I think that just shows that I think we're doing something right in the fact that we're having, the oldest one is enjoying themselves enough to, sell the younger ones to come and follow in their footsteps and come and enjoy being part of Calvin College and Calvin College Swimming and Diving. And so we've got a trio of Haslets, Christian, Ian, and Tristan. We have a trio of Holstaggies in Sam, Eli, and Ben. We have 2 Kutchkis, Anna, and John. Who else is there? Did I forget? Carl.
The Carls.
Nicole, and Allison Carl. And so it's fun to see them interact as a dad of 3 boys. It's kind of fun to see how they care for each other away from their parents, and show them the ropes to the younger ones, how they kind of egg each other on, and all the dynamics of being siblings together. And it's fun to see those things come alive on our deck, and we're blessed to have all of them.
And then finally, it's a little bit of a different question here in regards to swimming and diving, but you guys are coming off, when I say you guys, maybe we, but your program, it's just coming off an Olympic summer of swimming, and there always seems to be a little extra buzz around swimming and diving coming off an Olympic year, especially when the United States in particular has done extremely well. Have you noticed any extra energy or talk or buzz about just the whole Olympic experience and how that generates into the college season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see your sport as in primetime TV, right? And so all of a sudden, when you're a swimmer, you're the expert. You get to hear all these other people trying to comment on it, and you know what they're talking about. You know what they're saying when they're trying to negative split, or all these swimming terms come up on the TV. So it always gives a little bit more air of confidence to a swimmer during that time. And yeah, it's fun to see what the Team USA did. They did really, really well. I think they relied on being a team. And their numbers and the talent that they had to have so many close swims go their way. And so yeah, we have a lot of stories and examples that we can talk about on deck. We have a lot of things that get circulated around the Olympic time that we can use in our training and motivation, and what we call feel-good moments that we share quite often and try to train that brain. And so yeah. And then, swimming as a whole, there's always that, what they call the Olympic bump. And so not necessarily with our team, because, we're not trying to we have a big team, but in the area with all the other club teams and those kind of things, there's always that surge of new people trying this sport, and that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited for the upcoming season. It kicks off this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping by, and looking forward to talking to you again, Dan.
All right, thanks, Jeff. And I'm already getting nervous and anxious for our first races, so it's going to be fun.
You bet.